uccide I bambini.
Kamala Harris for supporting abortion rights, which he says kill children. Or Donald Trump for expelling migrants, which he calls a grave sin.
Non si può decidere, io non può dire.
The Pope says he's not American, so he doesn't have to decide, but tells Catholics in the U.S. they'll have to seek their own conscience and decide which candidate is, quote, the lesser evil. I'm Jackie Quinn.
For the first time, we're hearing from the two NASA astronauts stranded in space when the Boeing Starliner left the International Space Station without them.
A smiling and jokey Sonny Williams and Butch Wilmore say they're staying busy in space, doing maintenance on the International Space Station, having a good time, and showing those of us here on Earth that we have no excuse. They'll be voting in the upcoming election despite being up there into next year.
I sent down my request for a ballot today.
Astronauts can use a special system to electronically vote from space.
You know, it's a very important duty that we have as citizens, and looking forward to being able to vote from space, which is pretty cool.
Alex Stone, EBC News.
Winds news time 11:51. Time for traffic and transit with Kelly Dillon.
The eastbound Cross Bronx bumper to bumper at White Plains Road, an accident knocks out the right lane. Delays go back to the Sheridan. Busy in Queens on the westbound LIE at Woodhaven Boulevard with construction work now setting up. The westbound belt stop and go right past Cross Bay Boulevard, 2 lanes out with construction. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. We're busy across the Brooklyn Bridge now. Each way roving repairs. The inbound George upper level about a half-hour wait. 3 lanes of construction. Lower level is better. Outbound, it is quiet. No problems at the Lincoln or Holland tunnels so far tonight. This report sponsored by MajorWorld.com. Don't get duped by low advertised prices on pre-owned cars. Once you try to buy one, the final price will end up being thousands more. Come to Major World for transparent pricing and no surprises. Major World, 4340 Northern Boulevard, Long Island City, Queens. Call 1-800-MAJOR-AUTO or go to MajorWorld.com. I'm Kelly Dillon. Our next report at 12:01. 1010 wins on 92.3 FM.
Now the AccuWeather 4-day forecast. Here's meteorologist Brian Thompson.
We have not seen rain since last Saturday across the area, and that's going to continue here this weekend and even into the very early part of next week. A lot of sunshine in our future here in the near term, as well as a mainly clear sky tonight. Some patches of fog late, low 65 in the city, still getting down into the 50s in some suburbs. Now, any early fog will give way to sunshine tomorrow. It's going to be a nice day with a warm afternoon, a high of 83, but the humidity won't be that bad. Clear to partly cloudy tomorrow night, low 65. A beautiful Sunday on the way with sunshine much of the time, high near 80. And it's going to stay dry into Monday with more sun than clouds, a high of 78. And at this point, looks dry the day on Tuesday as well, even with more clouds. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson on New York's weather station. 1010 wins on 92.3 FM.
A Denmark man is suspected of 86 counts of reckless driving, and he filmed himself. The 29-year-old is accused of driving at high speeds on motorcycles, riding on the rear wheel, and endangering lots of people. Police say the guy had a mounted camera on his helmet, and that captured everything. Police in Denmark say they've never seen anything quite like this, and the man is looking at a likely prison sentence. Well, city bikes, they're a great way to get around, but a Brooklyn councilman says they've become much too expensive for most people. He says the price shouldn't exceed that of a subway ride.
Lincoln Wrestler's post on X has over 2,000 likes.
It should be easy for New Yorkers to get around on a bicycle, and it shouldn't break the bank.
At a Dockings Bedford-Stuyvesant, Noah Lumontobi agreed.
When I've used it, it's like $20, $25, and when I use it, it's because there's too much traffic. The city doesn't subsidize driving.
Deputy Mayor Mira Jochi said recently that is something they will look at in their next negotiation with Lyft, City Bike's parent company, in 2029.
If we were to pass our legislation, it would take effect at the next amendment to a City Bike contract, so that could be in the months ahead.
A DOT spokesman said they are reviewing the legislation. Marla Diamond, 1010 wins on 92.3 FM in Brooklyn.
A shocking story out of Washington State where an otter attacked a mother and her child while they were walking on a dock. The child was pulled right off that dock by the otter and dragged under the water, according to the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife. This happened Thursday at a marina located in the Puget Sound across from Seattle. The mom was able to pull the child out of the water. The child suffered scratches and bites, and fortunately the injuries were not serious. Wins News Time now, 11:55. Money Watch is 1 minute away.
Serpentini Chevrolet is Ohio's #1 Chevy dealer. With over 1,500 new and used vehicles in 6 convenient locations, we are the home for all your sales, service, and needs. Go to Serpentini.com to find the location nearest you. Together, let's drive.
Baseball season is heating. Odyssey has you covered with the most entertaining coverage of your team. Stay locked in and in the know with the local voices you trust. Stream your favorite shows free on the Odyssey app, Odyssey.com, or on your smart speaker.
.nyc. The reviews are in for New Jersey's smash hit.
Want to multiply your win? Maybe times it up by 10. Get New Jersey Lottery's hit. Putting on the blitz. Cash Blitz.
Courtney from Choffs are a real winner.
20, 50, 200 times more cash. Yeah.
And Joe from Hohokus says, play Cash Blitz scratch-offs. You could win up to $4 million.
Don't miss it.
Must be 18 or older to buy a lottery ticket. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Wins noon 56. It's time for Money Watch. Here's Joan Doniger.
A filmmaker from India is suing Netflix, accusing the streamer of ripping off his 2009 Hindi-language film Luck in the popular Squid Game series. Netflix is getting ready to release the second season later this year. The YouTube talk show Hot Ones might be coming to Netflix. It's talking with BuzzFeed, which owns the series that features celebrities eating ever spicier chicken wings while chatting with the host. And if you've seen the one with Conan O'Brien, you know you can't look away. Both sides are hoping to reach an agreement this month. The deal could see several live episodes created especially for Netflix. Our view of inflation is that it's not going to be as much of a short-term problem as we'd thought earlier. The University of Michigan's reading of our look at short-term inflation finds it's dropped now for the 4th straight month. On Wall Street, gains of about 0.5 to 0.75%, with investors betting on a bigger interest rate cut next week. The Dow up 297, the Nasdaq 114, the S&P 30. Bloomberg Money Watch at 26 and 56 past every hour. I'm Joan Doniger for 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
Wins News Time, 11:57.
You might wonder, John Legend, how do you keep your voice sounding so legendary? Honey. And how do I keep my protection against COVID-19 up to date? With a COVID shot this season, designed for recent variants.
You can get your COVID-19 shot when getting your flu shot if you're due for both, as recommended by the CDC.
The fresher, the better.
Ask your healthcare provider about getting this season's COVID-19 shot when getting your flu shot.
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Warning, the following ZipRecruiter radio spot you are about to hear is going to be filled with F words.
When you're hiring, we at ZipRecruiter know you can feel frustrated. And you can spend a fortune trying to find fabulous people, only to get flooded with candidates who are just fine.
Not fun.
Fortunately, ZipRecruiter figured out how to fix all of that. We find the right people for your roles fast, which is our absolute favorite F word. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
It's not just about watching the game, it's about betting on it. I'm Mike Valeni, and on Cash the Ticket, Jim Costa and I break down every college football and NFL matchup. It's the last game we're ever going to watch, from the best bets to the sneaky underdogs, and of course, as my co-host likes to say, the value. And the one thing we're not going to do, pretend we're professionals. We have fun with it, it's an entertainment product, and it makes watching games a hell of a lot of fun. So Cash the Ticket, follow it in the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
This is John D'Agostino from D'Agostino & Associates, the injury firm. Accident victims, I understand how an accident can turn your world upside down. You're in pain. You need medical care. You can't work. You're struggling to pay your bills, and you don't have a clue what your rights are. So what do? Call the first law firm that pops up on the internet? Look for the best website? Or say, hey, find me a lawyer. The options are endless, but the answers are simple. Ask around. Read reviews and go with your gut. Great law firms build great reputations. I built D'Agostino & Associates one client at a time by doing the right thing for accident victims just like you. Our clients know my team cares, and we're going to fight to get you every dollar you deserve. So call me today at 888-24-LAW-24. That's 888-24-LAW-24. We have offices throughout New York and New Jersey, and we'll come to you. I've been there, and I'll be there for you. D'Agostino Law Bite Back.
WINS, WINS-FM in HD1 New York. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
AccuWeather says early this morning, mainly clear conditions, a little fog out there. We're going down to 65 degrees in the city, dropping into the 50s in many of the surrounding suburbs. Then later in the day for our Saturday, lots of sun, a beautiful day, warm, a high of 83 degrees. And then for Sunday, much the same. Sun, pleasant, a high of 80 degrees. Monday staying dry with more clouds than sun and a high of 78. The extended forecast brings us a little rain as we look all the way ahead to Tuesday. The amount certainly depends on where you live, and we'll be tracking that very closely right here at 1010 Wins. More people get their news from 1010 Wins than from any other radio station in the nation. Roseanne Cox Peralta is our service aide. Sweetina Kakar is at the editor's desk. I'm Suzanne Colucci.
All news, all the time. This is 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM, New York.
69 degrees and mostly clear at 12 midnight on this Saturday, the 14th of September. I'm Lane Bajardi. Here's what's happening. Murder suspect is dead after a police-involved shooting in East Flatbush, Brooklyn. Justin Timberlake admits he was wrong to drink and drive, entering a plea deal on Long Island. 10-year-old girl takes a deadly fall from a building in the Crotona section of the Bronx. Donald Trump responding to criticism as President Biden denounces Trump's false claims about Haitian immigrants stealing and eating pets. New call to cap city bike fees as riders bemoan a recent price hike. Sports, the Yankees beat the Red Sox. Go-ahead grand slam from Aaron Judge, 5-4. Mets beat the Phillies, 11-3. AccuWeather says mainly clear overnight, patchy fog, low 65 in the city, into the 50s in some suburbs. Your weekend outlook just ahead. Winds News Time 12:01. Traffic and transit with Ian Stark.
And it might take you a good hour to get into the city over the GWB. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. Actually, nothing good about it. With 3 lanes blocked both ways in the upper level, you got problems at the bridge. Now, the lower level is better, but if you're coming from New Jersey into the city, you're better off getting to those local lanes to get to the lower level if you're driving a car or bus. If you're a truck, it's going to be half those 95 express lanes, and you'll be waiting to get to the bridge before you even get underneath Route 4. In the other direction, you also have 3 lanes closed, but the delays aren't the same. The westbound Cross Bronx will slow down as you get closer to the Deegan, but once you're on the bridge, you're really doing okay. Also seeing some a closure of the southbound Palisades ramp to the GWB off the exit Hudson Terrace to get to the bridge. The Pulaski Skyway closed this weekend from Trucker 109 to Newark to the Tunnelly Circle in Jersey City, so Trucker 109 would be the alternate you want to try. And here's what we see on Long Island's Big Three so far this morning. Not a whole lot. Traffic moving well in the LIE, the Northern State and the Southern State Parkway. I'm Ian Stark. Our next report at 12:11. 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
Top stories in a minute, but first, let's check on your AccuWeather weekend forecast from meteorologist Brian Thompson.
It's been almost a week since we've seen any rain across the tri-state, and really no sign of any rain here over the weekend. We're going to see a lot of sunshine throughout the day today after any early fog burns off. It's going to be a nice afternoon, a little bit warmer than recent days. High temperature on average about 83. And then as we head into Sunday, we're still going to see quite a bit of sunshine. Another beautiful mid-September day with high temperatures pretty close to 80, and that dry weather will even last into Monday.
Logging into 10 Wins for frequent AccuWeather updates throughout the weekend. A police-involved shooting in East Flatbush. A man wanted for questioning for 3 homicides is dead after the NYPD says tried to attack police officers with a knife.
Police say they were doing a search warrant, searching for Vilmond John Baptiste. He had an open warrant for a homicide back in 2022, and he's also wanted for a double homicide that happened this July. They tell us he was hiding in the bathtub holding a knife when officers tried to tase him.
Taser did not work. At that point, the male jumped out of the tub and ran on the officers, and at least 3 officers fired their weapons, an unknown amount of shots at this time, which is part of the investigation.
Police say he was rushed to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. Police say out of 2 of the 3 of the homicides, he had romantic relationships with the victims. Mary Lynn 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM in Flatbush.
Justin Timberlake, the Friday in Long Island courtroom.
This is a mistake that I made.
Justin Timberlake stood looking at the judge as pleaded guilty not to DWI, but to a lesser charge of driving while ability impaired, a non-criminal charge. Outside the Sag Harbor courthouse, he was required to do a safety announcement.
Even don't get behind the wheel of a car.
The 43-year-old must also pay a fine and spend 25 hours doing community service.
But I'm hoping that whoever's watching and listening right now can learn from this mistake. I know that I certainly have.
The pop star has 1 year to finish his community service at a nonprofit of his choice. Sophia Hall, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM in Sag Harbor, Long Island.
Now to the Bronx, where police are investigating tragedy. 10-year-old girl fell from a rooftop of an apartment building and died.
There is a memorial with some candles set up outside this Southern Boulevard apartment. Detectives have been in the back garden area.
The Christ Hospital Health Network and Premier Health, named top hospitals in Cincinnati and Dayton by U.S. News, have joined forces to deliver specialized cardiovascular care to the community. This partnership gives you access to leading experts and advanced treatments for complex heart conditions close to home. With expanded services and cutting-edge technology, we're doing everything it takes to provide world-class heart and vascular care. Together. Learn more at premierhealth.com/together.
The future is a hefty responsibility and not one that we take lightly. But then taking things lightly has never been what Hefty is about. That's why we've created the Hefty Renew program into valuable resources like benches and building materials. To participate, simply fill up an orange Hefty Renew bag with accepted items, tie it up, and drop it in with your regular recycling. That's it. It's that easy. It's time to rethink recycling with Renew. Particular valued resources may vary by geography. More info available at heftyrenew.com.
Winds News Time 12:09. Traffic and AccuWeather up next.
D'Agostino and Associates is a legacy firm that's there to help accident victims. I'm attorney Jenna D'Agostino, continuing the legacy my father, John D'Agostino, started 35 years ago when he built D'Agostino and Associates, the injury firm, one client at a time.
I grew up on these New York and New Jersey streets. They shaped me. I'm attorney John D'Agostino from D'Agostino and Associates, the injury firm. I often tell the story of how my father lost his leg in a construction accident so people understand I've been there and I'll be there for you. Call my team first. 888-24-LAW-24. 888-24-LAW-24.
Continuing the legacy means working closely with my father and our team. When you're injured, we know a big decision has to be made. Call our team first.
D'Agostino and Associates, the injury firm. We have offices throughout New York and New Jersey. I've been there and I'll be there for you. Call my team first. 888-24-LAW-24. 888-24-LAW-24. D'Agostino Law Bite Back.
The IRS, the world's most aggressive collection agency. They can seize your property, bank account, and garnish your wages. They cause sleepless nights for millions of Americans. Don't be one of them. If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state, get protected today. Call 800-601-8802. Coast One Tax Group, protecting your bank, home, and your sleep since 2008. With hundreds of 5-star reviews and an A+ on the Better Business Bureau. Call Coast One Tax Group, 800-601-8802. Stanley from New York owed $93,000. The IRS placed a levy on his bank account. Coast One released the levy and settled with the IRS for $2,000. Mark in Michigan owed $225,000. After Coast One stepped in, Mark walked away paying less than $1,500. Call Coast One now. A 10-minute call can save you up to 93% on your back taxes. Get your fresh start today. That's 800-601-8802.
Wins News Time, 12:11, traffic and transit. Here's Ian Stark.
Still looking at a good 30 minutes to get into the city right now over the GWB. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. There are 3 lanes blocked both ways on the upper level of the bridge. The delays into the city are just awful. As you pass under Route 4, you'll be slowing down in the express lanes of 95. If you're driving a car or bus, you can take those local lanes to the lower level and get around this. But driving a truck, you got that 1 lane open in both directions. And remarkably, we're not really seeing big problems getting into the city on the upper level. I can't promise you it's going to stay like this, but every time I look, westbound Cross Bronx to the bridge still doing okay, and I really don't want to put the whammy on it, but not seeing any problems in Lincoln to the Holland tunnels right now. They both look pretty quiet. You still have a closure of the Pulaski Skyway this weekend from Trucker 1 and 9 to the Tunnelly Circle, so to get between Newark and Jersey City, you want to go Trucker 1 and 9, and the Van Wyck has construction both ways in Queens, between exit 6 by Hillside Jamaica Avenues and exit 5 by exit 3 by Linden Boulevard, and with the construction impacting the service roads too, you might be better off trying the Cross Highland Parkway to get around this, and it's pretty heavy delays on the westbound BQE with construction from Tillery Street back to 29 as you make your way under the Manhattan Bridge. I'm Ian Stark. Our next report at 12:21. The 1010 wins on 92.3 FM.
Now the AccuWeather 4-day forecast. Here's meteorologist Brian Thompson.
The sky will stay mainly clear early this morning. There will be some patches of fog around, a low 65 in the city. It's still going to get into the 50s in some suburbs. Turning out mostly sunny later on today. Another nice afternoon, but it will be on the warm side for the middle of September, a high of 83. Clear to partly cloudy for later on tonight, low 65. And then Sunday, sunshine much of the time. Just a beautiful mid-September day, high temperature close to 80 degrees. And the dry weather is going to persist into Monday with more sun than clouds, high 78. Now, we do expect more cloud cover by Tuesday, and the next chance for rain looks like it will finally arrive later Tuesday night into Wednesday, the way it looks now. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson on New York's weather station, 1010 Winds on 92.3 FM.
69 degrees. Nice. Mostly clear skies. Winds News Time, 12:13.
Experience the future of driving with the new EV lineup at Serpentini Chevy. With 0 emissions, 0 fuel costs, and nearly a 400-mile range, you will have peace of mind and save money. Together, let's drive at all 6 Serpentini Chevy stores or SerpentiniChevy.com.
Philo's got a world of entertainment for you to explore with just one subscription. Sign up on all the networks you love, like A&E, MTV, Discovery, Lifetime, Hallmark Channel, and so much more. Featuring current seasons of all the best drama, true crime, reality, and family-friendly shows you can't afford to miss. Get started today and unlock our library of over 75,000 movies and shows. And save all your favorites with the unlimited DVR so you can rewatch them anytime, anywhere for up to a year. Philo now includes access to AMC Plus. You can discover your next obsession from its collection of hit originals like Mad Men, The Walking Dead, Killing Eve, Orphan Black, and tons of blockbuster movies. There are no contracts, no commitments, and no hassles. For just $28 a month, those are a better way to watch TV. So what are you waiting for? Visit Philo.tv and sign up today to start your 7-day free trial. That's PHILO.TV.
1010 Wins and Laborers Local 731 are proud to honor our city workers who are city heroes. During the course of the school year, there will undoubtedly be stories of teachers turned heroes, marking moments that go well above the job description. But as we start the new year off, it's also an appropriate time to thank all teachers for choosing a profession that can change lives with a look, a hug, or a word of encouragement. City school teachers, this week's city workers, city heroes.
Labor's Local 731 has been responsible for some of the biggest and most celebrated infrastructure projects in New York City, like the rebuild of the World Trade Center and the new LaGuardia Airport. Local 731 provides qualified and competent laborers to fill the demand that the construction industry not only requires, but deserves. Its members and leadership have fought hard for wages and benefits that open the path to the middle class that every hardworking American deserves. Laborers Local 731. Feel the power.
Thank you, Mike. City Bike raising its fees in July, and riders are feeling it. Now, Brooklyn City Council member Lincoln Ressler has proposed capping the fee at the price of a subway ride for one of those City Bike rides.
At a docking station in Bedford-Stuyvesant, Victoria said the price is just too high.
When I take it from Dumbo to Bed-Stuy from work, I think it's I want to say $15 or $16, and that's half the price of an Uber.
Per minute rates for members went from 20 to 24 cents in July and from 30 to 36 cents for single trip rides. But at a recent press conference, Deputy Mayor Mira Joshi said parent company Lyft is still under the city's price cap.
Hopefully the market feedback and obviously press about the kinds of rates that they're charging would have an influence on them not going to the very top.
Joshi said when the contract is renewed in 2029, subsidies will be part of the discussion. Marla Diamond, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM in Brooklyn.
How bad is it at that Boar's Head plant where all that bad meat spread across the country, sickening and even killing people with listeria? So bad, the company's now shutting it all down, and no more liverwurst.
The Boar's Head Company is indefinitely shutting down the plant in Jarrett, Virginia, and permanently ending production of the liverwurst, linked to at least 9 deaths and the hospitalizations of about 57 others in 18 states. All meats produced by the plant have been recalled, some 7.2 million pounds, after USDA inspectors said conditions there posed an imminent threat to health. Hundreds of workers' jobs are at stake.
Correspondent Michael Toscano. CDC's latest look at American obesity, painting a disturbing picture.
In 2024, Americans have more ways than ever to lose weight, from workout facilities to health food and even
Ozempic.
I lost some weight.
Adults lost up to 14 pounds.
Injectable weight loss drugs. But the CDC has found that the nation's rate of obesity, as measured by the body mass index, is at an all-time high.
That's correspondent Jim Ryan. A lot of that extra fat around American waist coming from the most unhealthy, but also quite tasty parts of our diet.
Cheeseburger in paradise.
Virtual primary care website PlushCare analyzed the nutritional value of cheeseburgers at 24 different fast food joints and found Five Guys had the most unhealthy burger option with 984 calories, 26.5 grams of saturated fat, and 1,050 milligrams of sodium. The cheeseburgers at Whataburger were the second least healthy, followed by Smashburger. And naturally, you need fries with a burger. So in case you were wondering, Five Guys also had the least healthy fries of any chain.
Of course they did, because they're also among the best tasting, right? They throw an extra scoop in the bag for you on top of it. Shout out to the Five Guys in Harrison by Red Bull Arena. Correspondent Stacey Lynn there, Wins News Time 12:18.
TriHealth's newest provider of exceptional care for women has a new name and a new home. OBGYN Associates is now Cincy OBGYN with a beautiful new facility in Liberty Township. Learn more at trihealth.com/Cincy OBGYN.
I live alone and rarely have visitors. So when I slipped and fell in the kitchen last month and couldn't get to a phone, I knew I was in trouble. Help! I could barely move. Help! I tried calling for help, but no one could hear me. As I lay there, I couldn't help but think of my kids and grandkids having to go on without me. I was terrified. It took 8 hours for my neighbor to find me. It could have been the end of me. That's when I knew I needed Life Alert. With just one press of this button, I'm connected to the Life Alert Center, where I can get the help I need, even when I cannot reach a phone. With Life Alert, I'm never alone.
Call 1-800-244-8805 for your free Life Alert brochure. That's 1-800-244-8805. Again, 1-800-244-8805. Call for your free Life Alert brochure at 1-800-244-8805 today.
Hi, I'm Steve Harris, founder of Harris Law. Even though Tom was 82, in hospice care and on multiple medications, when he died suddenly, his family wanted answers. Because of his age, other attorneys turned this case down. We got Tom's family $1.5 million. I'll tell you how right after this.
Have you been the victim of negligence or malpractice? Harris Law, New York's premier injury law firm, is a tough, dedicated legal team that will fight to get you the compensation you deserve. Call 212-593-7600 or visit harrislawnyc.com.
At Harris Law, we went through Tom's medical records and discovered in an obscure nurse's note that his care facility had mistakenly given him the wrong medication. That was the direct cause of Tom's premature death, and that's how we got his family $1.5 million.
Call Harris Law today, 212-593-7600 or harrislawnyc.com. The consultation is free. The compensation could be millions.
Download the free Odyssey app and make 1010 Wins a favorite. You can even listen in Colorado.
All news, all the time. This is 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
69 degrees, mostly clear on this Saturday, the 14th of September. I'm Ian Bajardi, and here's what's happening. Murder suspect shot and killed by police executing a warrant in East Flatbush. Mexican drug lord appears in Brooklyn federal court. Elementary school named in honor of a slain NYPD officer. Another round of reconstruction-related traffic hassles ahead this weekend on the BQE. And for some, Friday the 13th apparently sounded like a pretty great day to get married. Yankees beat the Red Sox 5-4, then beat the Phillies 11-3. AccuWeather says mainly clear overnight, patchy fog, low 65 in the city, 50 suburbs. Later today, mostly sunny with a high of 82. Winds time 12:21. Traffic and transit with Ian Stark.
The GWB is the biggest problem you got right now out there. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. It's going to take you about an hour to make your way across the bridge into the city. If you can get to those local lanes and take it to the lower level, you're not driving a truck, that's the way to do it. Otherwise, if you're heading to the upper level, it's going to take you about an hour before you even get under Route 4, much less getting to the bridge. And now with that inbound, check that outbound construction really kicking in. We're starting to see delays in the West Bronx back past the Deegan, and it's very likely things are going to get slower. So, of course, it's one of those times where if you don't need to use the GWB, maybe you don't. You got the Lincoln, you got the Holland. Somehow, some way, they're both looking okay right now. You also have the Plastic Skyway shut weekends between Newark and Jersey City. Trucker 1 and 9 is your alternate you want to try. The Van Wyck, there's construction both ways in Queens between exit 6 and exit 3 between Hillside Jamaica Avenues, Linden Boulevard. You might be better off on the Cross Island Parkway. Westbound BQE, you see construction from Tillery Street at exit 29 till you get past the Manhattan Bridge, and that's a slow spot without an alternate to recommend. Here's what we see on Long Island's Big Three. Not much. LIE, Northern State, Southern State looking good. I'm Ian Stark. Our next report at 12:31. 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
One man dead after police officers shot him in East Flatbush.
Police say they had an open warrant from 2022 for 38-year-old Vilmond John Baptiste. He also was a person of interest in 3 different homicides. When they got inside his Flatbush apartment, he was hiding out in his bathtub with a knife.
The sergeant on the scene tried to deploy the taser, but the taser did not work. The male jumped out of the tub and advanced on the officers. At least 3 officers fired their weapons.
And this isn't his first run-in with the law.
We have a double homicide stabbing that took place in July, where a female, 54 years old, and a male, 24 years old, was stabbed to death. He was also a person of interest and a suspect in another stabbing where a female, 66 years old, was stabbed to death.
Police believe that Baptiste had romantic relationships with 2 out of the 3 victims. Mary Lynn Buckley, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM. In Flatbush.
A mea culpa and words to the wise from Justin Timberlake on Long Island.
Even one drink. Don't get behind the wheel of a car.
Says Justin Timberlake as residents of Sag Harbor took videos and photos of the pop star after he pleaded guilty to driving while ability impaired.
I grew up in a small town. I can appreciate and understand the strain that this must have been on the people of Sag Harbor.
The charge is non-criminal. He was originally charged with DWI. He must spend 25 hours doing community service at a nonprofit of his choice, pay a fine, and he was required to do this public safety announcement, which he did right outside the courthouse.
Whoever's watching and listening right now can learn from this mistake. I know that I certainly have.
Sophia Hall, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM in Sag Harbor, Long Island.
Queens State Senator Jessica Ramos announced to run for mayor in a campaign video.
I've lived through some of our hardest times and our best. I've never given up on our city, and I never...
Ramos, perhaps best known for opposing billionaire Mets owner Steve Cohen's proposal to build a casino in the Citi Field parking lot. She's just the latest in a growing line seeking to challenge Mayor Adams in next year's Democratic primary. A field that includes former City Controller Scott Stringer, current Controller Brad Lander, and State Senators Eleanor Myrie, among others, waiting in the wings. Wins News Time 1224 in Brooklyn Federal Court. A Mexican drug lord answered to several charges, including murder.
This is the leader of the Sinaloa drug cartel, who prosecutors call one of the world's most notorious and dangerous drug traffickers, and one that goes after his own people if they cooperate with the government. Ishmael Zambada, known as El Mayo, pleaded not guilty to several drug charges and the murder of his own nephew. Zambada says he was kidnapped by El Chapo in Mexico and flown to Texas, where he was taken into custody in July. His attorney says there will be no deal with the government.
Do you expect this will go to trial? I expect it will go to trial.
Where, if convicted, the 76-year-old faces a minimum of life in prison. Mac Rosenberg, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM at Brooklyn Federal Court.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Wednesday News Time 1226. Now Bloomberg Money Watch.
More strain at Boeing beyond the strike by some 33,000 members of the International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers in the West. They overwhelmingly rejected Boeing's contract offer for a 25% raise over 4 years, and now Boeing could see its credit rating cut to junk after a warning from Moody's. A Bank of America analyst says Boeing is in a particularly weak position. Boeing shares fell close to 4%. On Wall Street, investors wound up the week with optimism and gains of at least 0.5 to 0.75%. The Dow rose 297, the Nasdaq 114, the S&P 30. Bloomberg Money Watch at 26 and 56 past every hour. I'm Joan Duniger for 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
Hey everybody, it's Savannah and Hoda from the Today Show.
From the simplest ways to save money to incredible hacks you never knew existed. Just remember,
See it, hear it, learn it on Today.
You just saved me $40.
Listen to the Today All Day channel live on the free Odyssey app.
Country roads, take me home.
The beauty of a short drive to West Virginia is all the beauty that surrounds you when you're here. Immerse yourself in vibrant colors with a cozy camp or lodge stay in West Virginia's state parks. Visit wstateparks.com.
Take me home. Country roads.
I'm going to for your cattle operation. Stop relying on pen and paper or complicated programs. Performance Beef combines your feed, financial, and health information in one easy-to-use platform. Visit performancelivestockanalytics.com to request a demo.
The Asian longhorned beetle is an invasive insect, a black and white tree-eating menace. It's here in our area, eating holes in our trees. Perfectly round holes, no larger than a dime, in trees across our region. The Asian longhorned beetle is destroying our trees. It burrows inside, where it literally eats our trees where they stand. Then it chews its way out, making perfectly round holes. Lots of these beetles mean lots of holes. Holes that could take away lots of our trees. Look for holes in your trees. By keeping an eye out, we can put an end to the Asian longhorned beetle and help keep our trees safe. Report the Asian longhorned beetle. Don't let it put a hole in our tree population. Report the Asian longhorned beetle. Go online at AsianLonghornedBeetle.com.
69 degrees. We have mostly clear skies. Going to be a comfortable night and a beautiful weekend ahead. Your full 1010 Winds AccuWeather 4-day forecast on the way in 2 minutes. Have a great weekend. I'm Lane Bijardi. Winds News Time, 12:30.
Good morning, I'm Suzanne Colucci. A school in Brooklyn has been renamed to honor an NYPD officer killed in the line of duty.
The sign outside PS 54 now reads the Detective Rafael Ramos School. And the hope, said PBA President Patrick Henry at the dedication, is that kids will know his legacy.
Who he was, what he stood for, and how proud he was to wear that uniform.
A uniform that made him and his partner Wen-Jen Liu targets as they sat in their patrol car blocks away from the school 5 days before Christmas 2014. Ramos's widow Maritza now heads a nonprofit in his name that works to bridge the gap between police and community.
Sometimes children, they're scared of cops or, they think that they're bad. But there's so many good police officers, and I hope that with what we do with the schools, that the children will see that.
Marla Diamond, 1010 Winds on 92.3 FM in Bedford-Stuyvesant.
Winds News Time, 12:31. Time for traffic and transit. Good morning, Ian Stark.
Good morning, Suzanne. And unfortunately, I always hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's going to take you about 30 to 40 minutes across the GWB in either direction now. Here's what you need to know about those bridges and tunnels. It's really one that's the problem. The GWB upper level 3 lanes blocked both ways. As a result, if you're heading inbound, as you pass under Route 4, you find yourself suddenly parked on 95. It's that kind of a situation. You want to get to those local lanes as soon as you can if you're not driving a truck and take the lower level to get around this. The westbound Cross Bronx doesn't have a lower level or local lanes or anything like that. So what you need to do to get to the lower level GWB is bear with the delays that are backing you up to about Jerome Avenue if you're on your way outbound, and again 30 to 40 minutes across the bridge in either direction. But then how about this? The Holland Tunnel open on a Saturday morning. Believe it, it's happening right now. Lincoln and Holland both look good at the moment. The Pulaski Skyway, that's shut down both ways. In fact, I see people walking around the Pulaski Skyway right now, construction workers. It's closed completely until the end of the weekend. We'll go Trucker 109 instead. In Queens, Van Wyck is very slow both ways due to construction between Hillside Jamaica Avenues and exit 6 and Linden Boulevard and exit 3. You're better off on the Cross Island Parkway. And the westbound BQE has construction from Tillery Street to exit 29 until you pass under the Manhattan Bridge. Traffic and transit every 10 minutes. Breaking traffic alerts when they happen. I'm Ian Stark, 1010 Winds on 92.3 FM.
And now the AccuWeather 4-day forecast. Here's meteorologist Brian Thompson.
It's been a very dry week across the area, and we're really not expecting any rain over the next few days. This dry stretch is going to continue before maybe we finally get a chance for rain toward the middle part of next week. But we'll have a mainly clear sky early this morning. There will be some patches of fog around, a low 65 in the city, still getting down into the 50s in some suburbs. Then it will turn out mostly sunny later on today. Another nice day with a warm afternoon, a high of 83. Clear to partly cloudy later on tonight, low 65. Lots of sunshine, a beautiful day Sunday, high near 80. And that dry weather is going to stick around into Monday with more sun than clouds, high 78. And then we'll see more in the way of cloud cover into Tuesday. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson on New York's weather station, 1010 Winds on 92.3 FM.
More rerouting for BQE drivers. A partial closure of the Staten Island bound side of the BQE is happening this weekend and again next weekend. Starting today, the DOT says one lane will remain open on the Staten Island side for a brief stretch of Adams Street to Washington Street from 1 a.m. until 5 a.m. on Monday. Keep it locked here at 1010 Winds for traffic updates on the ones to help you get around. It's almost time to grab a partner.
All join hands and circle down south and a little moonshine in
And do a little square dancing or maybe ride a mechanical bull. It's all in Bryant Park. Bryant Park's Square Dance is returning on September 26th. That also features some trick roping and lassoing lessons, a corn shucking contest, and lots more. United Airlines is joining its rivals now in offering free Wi-Fi service in flight.
United Airlines passengers will soon be able to keep tabs of their favorite social media sites and stream movies and video games after the carrier reached a deal with SpaceX for Wi-Fi service from its Starlink satellites. Chicago-based United says it will start testing the service early next year and start rolling out free in-flight Wi-Fi to its planes over the course of 2025. United is playing catch-up to several competitors already offering free in-flight Wi-Fi, including Delta, Alaska, Hawaiian, and JetBlue.
And that was correspondent Jason Brooks. In Milan, Italy, one sweet shop is infusing new technology to create some very unique treats.
A gelato maker in Milan is churning out new flavors with the help of artificial intelligence. We started using ChatGPT, says Gianfranco Sampo, who owns the ice cream parlor. He says the AI tool helped to create a new frontier of flavors after they fed the chatbot a list of more than 7 dozen current recipes. The first creation is white chocolate with a berry sauce, balsamic vinegar, and caramelized black pepper. Another AI special, vegan salted and sandblasted hazelnut with oat milk and peaches sautéed in Prosecco.
Correspondent Tina Kraus. Well, it's an unlucky day, but one British couple took their chances on Friday the 13th, and it paid off.
Hannah and Matthew Parfit got married last October in a cemetery on Friday the 13th in a room that was once used to lower coffins before cremation. Matthew's wedding suit included a red tie covered in skulls. Hannah was all gothed up in a black wedding dress and dramatic black eye makeup.
We did want to get married on Halloween, but it always rains really badly on Halloween.
They told the BBC they've actually had pretty good luck since their Friday the 13th wedding. They've even managed to buy a house.
Correspondent Vicky Barker. Hot and spicy chips and fiery questions all happening live. It's all getting stirred up into one show on Netflix. Entertainment is next. WINS News Time, 12:36.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
Hi, everybody. It's Savannah Guthrie here with Hoda Kotb from The Today Show.
You know that saying, you learn something new every day? Well, it is so true.
Yes, every morning on Today, it's those little tips that can help save you time and improve your day.
From the simplest ways to save money right now to incredible kitchen and cleaning hacks that you never knew existed. Just remember,
see it, hear it, learn it on Today.
Oh, that's genius. You just saved me $40.
Listen to the Today All Day channel live on the free Odyssey app.
Attention, New York homeowners. Are you facing foreclosure and owe more than your home is worth? Looking for a new and better solution than a short sale or loan modification? Then here's great news. Keep or sell your home with an investment from Residential Equity Partners. Eliminate foreclosure and restore your equity. Here's how it works. Our retained law firm negotiates a settlement with your lender to terminate your foreclosure in exchange for a reduced payoff amount. Then we provide the capital necessary to fund the settlement. To see if you qualify, call 800-800-9488. That's 800-800-9488. If you're in foreclosure and looking for a better solution than a short sale or loan modification, it's time to call Residential Equity Partners. We have the money, resources, and experience to eliminate your foreclosure and restore your equity so you can cash out or keep your home. To see if you qualify, call 800-800-9488. That's 800-800-9488. Terms and conditions apply. There is no guarantee a foreclosure can be stopped.
Time now for 1010 WINS Entertainment. Netflix Hot Ones is getting ready to turn up the temps even more.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? For First We Feast, I'm Sean Evans, and you're watching Hot Ones. It's the show with hot questions and even hotter wings.
The streamer is in talks with BuzzFeed to air Hot Ones live shows. The popular YouTube series is hosted by Sean Evans, and it puts celebrities on the hot seat, forcing them to answer questions while eating increasingly spicy chicken wings. 'Cause I can do it with a broken heart. Taylor Swift is capping off a big week by dropping a remix of Do It With a Broken Heart. It's streaming now. It follows her endorsement of VP Kamala Harris for president, plus those 7 awards she won at Wednesday's VMAs at the UBS Arena.
Entertainment on 1010 WINS is sponsored by Shulman & Hill, New York's injury lawyers.
Go to hurtny.com.
That's hurtny.com.
Weather can be unpredictable nowadays, but your local news station on the free Odyssey app has got you covered. Whether you need an umbrella, windbreaker, or an extra layer, or 2, we'll let you know. Download the free Odyssey app and search for your local news station to listen on your smartphone or ask your smart speaker to play it before you head out the door. Download the free Odyssey app and search for your local news station. That's AUD.
You are a very important person. You show up.
Put in the work and bring your best to each and every day. It isn't always glamorous or easy, but it's worth it because you're building a life for yourself and those you love. That means a lot, and so do you. When you open an account at Park National Bank, you get more than you might expect. Your own personal banker and the VIP treatment you deserve. Park National Bank, where you mean more. Member FDIC.
1010 Wins is now on TuneIn.
The Newswatch never stops. This is 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Good morning. It's 68 degrees at 12:40 on this Saturday, September 14th. I'm Suzanne Colucci, and here's what's happening. New details about a deadly police shooting in Brooklyn. Officers kill a man they were looking to talk to about 3 murders after he reportedly came at them with a knife. A 16-year-old boy stabbed multiple times outside a charter school in Queens. School's Chancellor David Banks in the spotlight, taking questions about the FBI raid at his home. Stuck in space, astronauts make their first public comments since a Boeing capsule left without them. A mother and child out for a walk in Washington state were attacked by an otter, left banged up and very shaken up. In sports, the Mets beat the Phillies 11-3. The Yankees beat the Red Sox 5-4. Wins News Time 12:41. Time for traffic and transit. Here's Ian Stark.
And the GWB is still the problem right now out there. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. It's going to take you probably close to an hour to get into the city, about 45 minutes, if not more, to get out. You always know it's a bad situation when you can tell how bad the bridge is by looking at Route 4 to see how things are going inbound, and by Jerome Avenue or even 3rd Avenue, looking traffic heading towards the bridge to get out. So yeah, construction the upper level, 3 lanes blocked both ways. As a result, you're slammed trying to get to the bridge. The only thing that might help out if you're heading inbound, get to those local lanes as soon as you can if you're driving a car or bus, and you can get to the lower level. But the westbound Cross Bronx doesn't have the luxury, so you're going to have to sit in those delays on your way to the bridge. But you got the Lincoln and the Holland tunnels both looking very good this morning. We'll take Pulaski Skyway is closed both ways. You got to take Trucker 1 and 9 between Newark and Jersey City to get around it. And the westbound BQE is slammed in Brooklyn. You have construction from Tillery Street exit train 9 out to around the Manhattan Bridge. As you pass under it, traffic barely budging. There's not a lot of great alternates to the BQE, so just prepare yourself. Here's what we see on Long Island's Big 3 this morning. Traffic light on the LIE, the Northern State and the Southern State Parkway. I'm Ian Stark. Our next report at 12:51. 1010 Wins on 93 FM.
A suspect wanted for questioning about 3 murders over the summer is dead, shot by officers who say he came at them with a knife. Marilyn Buckley has the latest from Flatbush.
Police say they were serving a warrant that had been open since 2022 for a homicide, searching for Vilman Jean Baptiste. They tried to tase him as he hid in his bathtub with a knife.
The male jumped out of the tub and advanced on the officers, and at least 3 officers fired their weapons.
Police also say he was a suspect and person of interest in a double homicide dating back to this July,
where a female 54 years old and a male 24 years old was stabbed to death. Begins to date older women, and then they allow him to reside in his house to use narcotics. The relationship was romantic in nature.
Police also tell us one officer had a bottle thrown at him at the scene and was taken to the hospital, along with the other officers involved in this shooting. Marilyn Buckley, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM. In Flatbush.
Justin Timberlake making a big appearance in the Hamptons, going for a judge in his DWI case while urging others to learn from his mistake.
Justin Timberlake was soft-spoken in court, saying yes, sir, when asked a question by the judge. The pop star pleaded guilty to a lesser charge of driving while ability impaired. It's non-criminal. He was originally charged with DWI. Outside the courthouse, he was required to do a public safety announcement.
Even if you've had one drink, don't get behind the wheel of a car. There's so many alternatives. Call a friend, take an Uber.
The 43-year-old must also pay a fine and do 25 hours of community service at a nonprofit of his choice.
We can all be more safe out there. I'm going to do my part.
Sophia Hall, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM in Sag Harbor, Long Island.
Tragedy at a Bronx apartment building where a 10-year-old girl fell to her death from a rooftop.
The alarm is supposed to go off when people try to get onto the roof here at 2157 Southern Boulevard.
It's surprising that happened.
Antoinette Talamoni says the alarm hasn't been working and she's heard people on the roof.
Not my kids, I can say, but Certain kids around the neighborhood have been around. We reported it. We called 311. It just seems like security is not listening. They're not available.
Detectives are trying to figure out this played a role in the 10-year-old girl who lives here getting onto the roof and falling. She didn't make it to the hospital.
That broke my heart. That's scary.
Russia Sims' nieces come to visit her, and she doesn't let them on the roof. Mac Rosenberg, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM in Crotona.
A 16-year-old boy was stabbed multiple times outside a charter school in Queens. Police are hunting for two teenage boys. Say the victim was stabbed in the leg and the wrist while on a sidewalk outside the New Dawn Charter School on 161st Street in Jamaica just after 4 yesterday afternoon. It's unclear if the attack was related to the school in any way. The victim is now hospitalized in stable condition. Coming up, what City Schools Chancellor David Banks is saying about the federal investigation and the raid of his home. Wins News Time, 12:45.
Hi, everybody. It's Savannah Guthrie here with Hoda Kotb from the Today Show.
You know that saying, you learn something new every day? Well, it is so true.
Yes, every morning on Today, it's those little tips that can help save you time and improve your day.
From the simplest ways to save money right now to incredible kitchen and cleaning hacks that you never knew existed. Just remember,
See it, hear it, learn it on Today.
Oh, that's genius. You just saved me $40.
Listen to the Today All Day channel live on the free Odyssey app.
Country roads, take me home.
The beauty of a short drive to West Virginia. All the beauty surrounds you and your pursuit of vibrant falls with cozy for life. Stay in West Virginia State Parks. Visit beautypark.com.
Take me home. Country roads.
Abdir Barre here, immigration attorney. My family immigrated from Somalia when I was 8 years old and gained political asylum fleeing the civil war in Somalia. I am an immigrant and I understand you. At Barre Law, our attorneys and staff members are also former immigrants who are now immigration professionals. Call my firm Barre Law first, 646-894-5900. Green card and citizenship applications are being processed quicker under the current administration. You must act immediately on your immigration status. As an immigrant, I've experienced the frustrations with the immigration system. I am you, and I understand you. Call Barre Law first, 646-894-5900. This is an election year. Things could change dramatically for immigrants, but now is still the best time to act on your immigration case. Call Barre Law first, 646-894-5900. Barre Law.
Immigration attorneys can help you see your legal problems through.
Wins News Time, 12:47. The school's chancellor says he's cooperating with the federal investigation, taking questions but giving some limited answers.
School's chancellor David Banks says despite federal agents seizing his phones and still holding on to them, this is not a distraction to the job he's doing leading the city school system. Asked about the nature of the relationships with his brothers Terrence and Deputy Mayor for Public Safety Phil Banks.
Just like any other family member, I love my brothers. I love my family.
Then asked if he met with Terrence, who was pursuing a lobbying career, and if he encouraged that effort.
And that is the exact kind of question that you know I can't respond to.
Julia Papa, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
Former President Donald Trump hitting the campaign trail out west while VP Harris set her sights on battleground Pennsylvania.
Former President Donald Trump continues to rail against the dangers of illegal immigration. Speaking in Los Angeles, Trump says he wants to be known as the border president.
We will do large deportations from Springfield, Ohio. Large deportations. We're going to get these people out. We're bringing them back to Venezuela.
During the debate, Trump amplified false rumors Haitian immigrants in Springfield were taking and eating pets. Bomb threats set off the evacuation of schools and government buildings in Springfield.
No, the real threat is what's happening at our border. Because you have thousands of people being killed by illegal migrants coming in.
National statistics show there's been no spike in violent crime in the major cities where many migrants have settled. At the White House, President Biden says he's heard enough of Trump.
Wrong. There's no place in America. This has to stop what he's doing.
Ed Donahue, Washington.
Pope Francis is weighing in on the U.S. presidential election.
Pope Francis is slamming both U.S. presidential candidates, saying both are against life.
Sia quello che butta via i migranti, sia quello
che uccide I bambini.
Kamala Harris for supporting abortion rights, which he says kill children, or Donald Trump for expelling migrants, which he calls a grave sin.
Non si può decidere